Welcome to this week's strategy session. Thank you, as always, for coming along to join me. Great to have you with me. Interesting week, lots of stuff to talk about. We're going to kick off 100, move along into the small ordinaries. Want to have a look at the financial index this week. Interesting things happening there. Then, of course, we've got our commodities and also got a couple of stocks for you. So that's always fun to go through and look at some of the things which are on the move, which I think are probably worth having a look at. Today is general commentary only. No personal advice, general only. If you need personal advice, well, you've got to go and get personal advice separately. Okay, well, having gone through that, let's get some charts going. So let me get this up on the screen, and we're going to start off as we usually do with the ASX 200. And I think overall, this has been a busy week. It's been encouraging to see the ASX 200 hold on to all of these gains we saw from the October low. So quite a big rally off that October low, and then we've really been tracking sideways over the last couple of weeks. And I like that it's consolidating at a higher level. Consolidating at this higher level, so that kind of to me suggests there's buy the dip happening. We're getting a little bit of a dip, and it's being supported, it's being underpinned. So that's a positive. And I spoke about the possibility that I think it was a couple of weeks ago that perhaps we could get several weeks of consolidation, and that still remains my preferred case. I think this could still continue to track sideways for a bit longer. Of course, something different could happen, but that would be my preferred setup. Interesting, just to quickly put some Fibonacci retracements on just from the high, and you can see the markets, the ASX 200 has just come back to that upper end of the Fibonacci band. So it's constructive when you get a market which does hold to the upper end of the bands. When it starts coming back towards the lower end, there's less interest in buying it and setting up for not such a strong out moving forward. But I think the fact that it's holding up at these levels, I think that's positive. And I think also also worth noting is I think this is quite an important area the market currently things going on. We've got these moving averages. We've got the 50-day and the 100-day moving averages. So the ASX 200 sitting right between those at the moment. And just above there, we've got this overhead resistance at 7,100 thereabouts, which has been a key area for going back to April when this large trading range began. That was the base of the range, and now it's providing resistance as the market's sitting beneath it here. So a couple of key areas to be aware of. I think the longer the market sits here, the longer it rests at around this, I think the better. It potentially builds a stronger platform for then possibly another test higher. So nice big platforms are usually good for giving a basing structure to support higher levels. It's still a pretty messy chart. When we compress this a bit and you just look at the last 2 years, it is still a mess. So we're trying to navigate our way through a pretty messy corridor at the moment. But there are positive signs that maybe this could lead to a retest higher, and every test higher, then we're looking at that for, well, is this going to be the one that ultimately out of this large range that we've been in for over 2 years now? It's a frustrating range, but it's just part of the cycle that we do get these periods. And if we can get a break above 7,100, then I think the next stop is then we'd start looking towards 7,400, which was the old top of the range. But first, not there yet. I've been buying stocks over the last week. In fact, I've been buying over the 2 weeks before that as well. Since we started getting this upward movement, I have been moving money back into the market. And of course, as you know, I've never completely gotten out of the market. It's a sliding scale for me. I'm moving lower, I'm pulling money out. As they start to move upwards again, I follow that momentum and start moving money back in. It's for me though, it's still a case of being cautious. This is not an all-in moment to say, okay, the market's moved up for a few weeks, let's throw everything back in. It's still a cautious time perspective, but as I've been saying, I've been adjusting my portfolio to along the lines of the prevailing momentum. And I'm going to show you a stock that I bought this week. I'll show you that a little bit later on. Now, if you're getting value, make sure please hit that like button. Let me know what you think. It's really good to see if I'm helping. Let me know. Please leave those comments. And now I'm going to move on in a moment. Have a look at the small ords. Have a look at the financial stocks, the financial index. I think that's worth having a bit of a look at the moment. And I've also got a couple of stocks. I think you're going to get some interest from. So I'm going to show you them in a moment. But that's but this just wraps up the free section. If you're not a strategy session member, hit that link below this video. Join up. Get the rest of this video. You can get the rest of this video, and look, it doesn't cost very much. Just like bringing me a cup of coffee to the rest of the session. So think about doing that. I think you get a lot of value. So yeah, I'd love to have you on board for the rest. And now let's move on. Let's move on to the other things we want to have a look at this week. Let's